Suddenly interested in baking your own sourdough bread at home? The secret to making a great loaf isn't just in the baking, it's also in your preparation. Today, I'll show you 3 things you can do to help you prepare before you even start mixing dough to make sure you get sourdough success. I'm Rhiannon, owner of the Epsom Bakehouse, teaching you to bake great fresh bread at home through online classes and courses. Comment sourdough if you'd like the link to sign up for my free step-by-step guide to making your own successful sourdough starter at home when you sign up to my newsletter. First up, prepare your equipment. You only need a few simple things to help you bake great sourdough at home. For example, mixing bowl and a dough scraper if you can get hold of one. Things like kitchen scales, measuring jug, a banneton if you have one to help rise your dough before you turn it out and bake it, and a starter jar, so something to store your starter in once you've made it and keep it fresh so that you can keep using it. You can check out the links to my storefront, which is an ad, below this video if you'd like to know more about where to get equipment to help you bake great sourdough at home. Next up, stock up on your ingredients, the key one of which is going to be your flours. Starting with some wholemeal or dark rye flour. This is going to be used to make your starter. The rye grain generally has more yeast naturally occurring on the outer casing of the grain, which is then incorporated when it's milled into the wholemeal flour. That helps build a strong and bubbly starter for you and that will help rise your breads. So stock up on some wholemeal or dark rye flour, organic if possible. Next up, your bread flour. And if you're just starting out baking sourdough at home, then I strongly recommend starting with a strong white wheat bread flour. So that's a white wheat bread flour with a protein content of about 11 to 13 grams per 100 grams. This is a relatively simple flour to use when baking sourdough at home, and you'll use it to get a feel for the dough. For example, have you added enough water to it, and also how your loaf should rise. So if possible, start with the strong white wheat bread flour before you move on, for example, to the wholemeal wheat bread flour or other flours like spelt. As well as the flours, you will need your sourdough starter, which you'll make with the rye flour, and also some salt to add into your bread. And those are the simple ingredients that can help get you started baking sourdough bread at home. You'll also need to wake up your starter and make sure it's bubbly and active before you get started baking sourdough loaves. And this will involve taking your starter from your storage and adding in more rye flour that you made the starter with, and also some water, and giving the starter time, sometimes up to 24 hours and perhaps 1 or 2 feeds, before it's ready and active to start baking sourdough loaves with. If you have your starter in storage, make sure you do these steps before you bake bread, because if it's inactive like my one here, there's no bubbles, there's no yeast actively producing gas. That means that your dough will not rise, so make sure that your starter is bubbly and active before you even think about mixing up some dough. All of the steps to feeding your starter are included in my online Introduction to Sourdough Bread Baking course, for which you can find a link below this video. So gather those simple pieces of equipment, stock up on your ingredients, especially those flours, and wake up your sourdough starter so it's bubbly and active, and you can be confident and ready to bake delicious sourdough bread at home. Want some more help to make your own successful starter at home? Comment sourdough for a link to my step-by-step guide when you sign up to my newsletter. And if you found this video helpful, then do like and subscribe to the channel so you can get more helpful bread making tips and recipes and more from the Epsom Bakehouse.